Bears bye week, hypothetical video. But guys, you guys know I only do hypothetical videos if I think there's a realistic chance that they can happen. Now, will Ryan Poles do this? He's shown me he doesn't like to make big moves, but I think it's time. We made a similar move with the same team, 2018, with the same team trading, the Raiders, 2018, to go get Khalil Mack. The difference then, the big difference then, was we didn't have quite the team built up that we do now. And Mitch Trubisky wasn't quite proven, like Caleb is starting to show his signs of understanding the awareness of the pocket, having an offensive line that's now a top 10 pass blocking efficiency line, having a defense that's elite everywhere except the defensive line. Maxx Crosby would be that piece that puts us over the edge. And now that rumors are swirling with the Raiders that they might be looking to completely overhaul the team, that they're pretty desperate because they got the quarterback position wrong. They could be tanking. Maxx Crosby's in the peak of his career, 28 years old, 29 coming up. In rebuild mode, is that really what he wants to go through? There was a lot of turmoil this last offseason. They finally put an extension in place, but that extension shows they were looking to trade him all along. Let's jump right into this thing.
Bear down, sports making Chicago proud.
Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, be a part of the channel. So this is from last year. As you guys know, Maxx Crosby was under a lot of turmoil and wanted a trade request unless Antonio Pierce became the head coach. There was a lot of different reasons behind it. He didn't want to go through the rebuild. They traded for Geno Smith. They got Pete Carroll, and then it looked like he was going to be happy. But really, we'll get into the contract here in a minute. Here's his rookie contract. Then he signed an extension with the Raiders through 26. Then this last year was kind of the holdout. You can kind of call it a holdout. And then he got the extension. The biggest extension any non-quarterback had gotten up to that point. Now, there's been a couple since then. But there were rumors about maybe the Lions traded for him. You can see the date on this is October of 24. And a lot of different teams maybe going in on Maxx Crosby, a consistent all-pro, consistent Pro Bowl player, consistent first, second team, very consistent player. Last year with an ankle injury, but by all means, it looks like he's completely back and healthy, and if not, better than ever. So he signed a 3-year, $106 million extension with the Raiders to put him through 2029. So he was through 26, you can see right up there. 3 additional years put him through 2029. And you can see right there, he was the highest paid at that point. So we'll get into that contract in a minute, but things looked fine. And now the Raiders have gone completely dead after this last week of getting slaughtered by the Colts, absolutely obliterated by the Colts. Now those trade rumors are starting to cycle back up, and it's looking like maybe the Raiders might be looking to get into rebuild mode. So here's some of the headlines. NFL superstar could request trade as rumors swirl once again. This is just this last week. Here's from Raiders Beat on Twitter. Maxx Crosby trade rumors are going to dominate the month of October. Here's why. This in the middle is that's Caleb and Max showing respect to each other, showing how the Bears could be a good fit. Raiders called to trade $106 million superstar amid terrible start to the season. Not him, but the Raiders start to the season. And then this is just another Twitter account. Just look at the bright side, Raiders Nation. The Raiders deserve a top 3 pick so they can get their quarterback and rebuild this team the right way. Oh, by the way, I think we should trade Maxx Crosby to the highest bidder, get multiple first-round picks back. So this is something that is starting to swirl again, and where there's smoke, you can start to see some fire. So let me go through what I think is the best path for the Bears. I'm not going to make this a long, drawn-out video, but I do think it's something if Ryan Poles can get in the ear of the Raiders and convince them to trade, there's a perfect avenue for these two teams to trade. All right, number one, here's our Bears defensive line right now. Signing Dayo Odeyingbo was probably the biggest mistake this offseason for that much money. Now, I'm not saying we didn't need a defensive end. I'm just saying we didn't go out and get the most legitimate defensive end. Grady Jarrett, solid. We saw how we were without him this last week. He's very valuable. Him coming back is going to be huge. Gervon Dexter, still improving. Needs to keep improving and stacking weeks in. We drafted Shamar Turner. Andrew Billings is a good placeholder. A really good backup, not quite fringe, starter. A lot of people feel that he is, but either way, great rotational piece. Then you got Dom Robb still kind of hanging around, Tano Passignon. These guys are just kind of filling in, but Austin Booker with a lot of links to Maxx Crosby, a lot of links because of their similar play style, similar body, similar length. And then in this offseason, Austin Booker with the second highest grades, PRP, win percentage, everything in the offseason. Now, a lot of your starters aren't getting as many reps, but Austin Booker getting those reps had a ridiculous amount of sacks. He had a sack every 4 pressures. So, and every 4 plays total, I believe. So, one every 4 passing play, he was able to get a sack. 9 total sacks in the preseason. So that's crazy. I'm sorry, 9 total pressures in 30 pass rush opportunities, 5 total sacks. So 1 out of every 6 snaps, he had a sack. 1 out of every 4, 3.5, 4 total plays, he had a pressure. Anyways, that's a lot of jumbo in there. Either way, Austin Booker looked great in the offseason, been out the first 4 weeks with injury. Now him coming back, if we trade for Maxx Crosby, who better for Austin Booker to learn under? On top of that, there's another trade piece that might be needed for the Raiders. Colton Miller, their left tackle, has now gone down with injury last week versus the Bears. His injury is more severe than they thought. Not only does he have a high ankle sprain, they found a fracture in there. Minimum 4 weeks out, possibly longer. Well, when you're looking to kind of go into rebuild, you want to protect your quarterback, but also the Bears are looking to potentially trade Braxton Jones. You could package Braxton Jones in that package, see if the Raiders want to pick him up. Could he move over to right tackle when all is said and done? When Colton Miller comes back, they could have their left and right tackle, because right now, with Colton Miller out, their offensive line is a complete mess. Braxton Jones could be a young player that they could re-sign for the future after having him help fill in to be able to make sure they can get things developed this year. Cheap option. Braxton Jones, just a little over $3-4 million this year, and then he's at the end of his contract. Even if he doesn't pan out with the Raiders, if somebody else signs him, then the Raiders would be eligible for a comp pick if it doesn't work out. So he's nice to package in there for the Raiders and the Bears to be able to get Maxx Crosby. And then the other piece to throw in there, like we just talked about, Dio Odengbo. Now, not having a terrible season, but really an expenditure for the Bears. But you can see his cap hit this year is only $8 million. And then here's what I was talking about with Maxx Crosby's contract. So his contract here, when you do an extension like this over those extra 3 years, and there's no dead cap over here, see how there's no dead cap? That means they were willing and wanting to potentially trade him down the road for this exact scenario, for the rebuild. So you can see there's no dead cap after next year. Now, I'm not going to get into the minutia about how the cap would work with the trade here. The Bears would have to eat a lot of cap. So I'm going to throw a proposal where the Bears throw an extra trade pick in there, a draft pick in there, and the Raiders are willing to eat some cap because they have some cap to eat this year. They can eat some of that salary cap for trading Maxx Crosby. So in my scenario, that's what they're going to do. They're going to eat a little bit of the cap. We're going to trade Dio Odengbo. They're going to take on that future contract because next year the Bears cap is tight. After that, it's really opened up to extend players like Darnell Wright or Rome Odunze or Caleb Williams. So there's a lot of flexibility after 2026. 2027 on, the Bears look really, really good for the salary cap. So bringing on Maxx Crosby isn't a problem long term. It's just a problem short term. So in this trade scenario, I'm going to have the Bears getting a little bit of cap help from the Raiders. So here's my trade proposal. The Bears are going to trade away Dio Odengbo, Braxton Jones, next year's first, and the next 2 years seconds after that. And it's really some pick swaps. Maxx Crosby is going to come back in return. They're going to get a little bit of cap help. I'm not going to go deep into this one, but it's going to need to be a little substantial. So in return for that, maybe it's a 26 first rounder, 27 first rounder from the Bears, 28 second rounder, but really a first and 2 seconds and 2 players should get it done with a little bit of late round pick swaps. Yeah, Maxx Crosby back, some cap eaten. 26, we get a third rounder back. 27, fourth rounder back. 28, fourth rounder back. Yes, it's a high premium to pay, but Maxx Crosby, we've seen exactly what he looks like when he's hunting down Caleb Williams or any other quarterback in the league. This last week against Indy, he was still a menace, even though they got blown out. Of course, here's the famous, one from the Bears the other day where right here he deflects it, boom, up in the air. It's going to sit there for a second. He's going to snag his first career interception. He takes off. So that's Maxx Crosby and the havoc that he creates. You see, we take that back. He's right there. Creates a little bit of pressure, and then he backs off and he plays almost like a linebacker. Look at how he shifted back there. boom, up in the air. This is the havoc you get from Maxx Crosby. He's equally as effective at the run game as he is in the pass. He can get pressure, he gets sacks, he also can get deflections like crazy. So he would be an immediate impact. He would be what needs to take the Bears to top them over the edge to be a complete team on offense and defense. The Bears offense is clearly coming around with Caleb and Rome, Ben Johnson at the helm. The defense looks really good in the secondary. The secondary has so many picks this year. They're doing their job, but we're not getting pressure. We're one of the worst teams in pressure yet again, and we're not stopping the run. Maxx Crosby would help both of those things. So this trade scenario only makes too much sense to me. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments. I want to see the Bears try to pull this off relatively soon. Now, maybe it takes two to tango. Maybe the Raiders aren't quite ready yet. But if there's another loss or two stacked up and the Raiders are looking bad enough that those losses are going to come, they need to replace Geno Smith. And this next year is what many have considered to be one of the most elite quarterback classes in quite some time. So if the Raiders are going to start tanking, they want to build some value, get another first-round pick. They've got their own first-round pick. They can rebuild their team, start from scratch, and get that quarterback next year. Take a defensive end with the Bears pick in the first round. Get some help in the meantime with Dio Dangbo, Braxton Jones, with Colton Miller out. It makes sense on my side. I really see this as being beneficial for both teams. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. Would this make sense for the Bears, or does this give you too many flashbacks of trading for Khalil Mack? Would it make you worry that we've leveraged our future too much? Or are you confident that Caleb Williams is the guy, that we've got Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Colson Loveland, a decent offensive line with some pieces that are developing with Theo Benedict and Darnell Wright and Joe Tooney signed long-term and, Ozzie Trapillo developing in the wings and maybe even Luke Newman developing, really that we look solid enough that we really just need one more piece to be a competitive, playoff team in this division. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, da Bears and bear down.